What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus package updates, daily news, everything going on here in our country, in Washington, D.C., money, investing, the stock market, the economy, inflation, pretty much everything you need to know about on a daily basis. Remember, the new videos come out here on our YouTube channel at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. And if you find these videos helpful, don't forget to hit the like button for us down below. Okay, first, let's start off with an interesting interview I seen about the stimulus package, the Build Back Better package, between basically a Republican and a Democrat point of view on Fox News. The Republican interviewer, Fox News isn't a typically Republican news station, interviewing a Democratic representative from California, Ro Khanna, kind of showing you the Republican versus Democratic points of views on the Build Back Better package. So here we go. Very interesting. They're also talking about whether they think the package is paid for or not paid for, and talking about multiple different items in the package. Check this out and let me know what you think here.
California Congressman Ro Khanna. He is a member of the Armed Services, Oversight, and Agricultural Committees, and he joins us right now. Congressman, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much for being here this morning.
Maria, good morning. Always a pleasure.
What do you make of this worry from Americans about inflation? You know, you would think that that is something of a wake-up call for you and your colleagues as you still try to get this spending plan through. Won't more spending stoke more inflation?
Well, of course it's a worry. Grocery prices are up. Gas prices are up. When I shop in my district, I see that. But what our bill will do is put more money in the pockets of working families and the middle class so that they have more money and can afford groceries, can afford gas, and it's going to lower the cost of prescription drugs, lower the cost of childcare, lower the cost of elder care. So I think it will help.
How would it possibly help if it's more money chasing too few goods, Congressman? We know this. And not only that, but many people are expecting that they will also pay higher taxes. So you're saying that this bill is lowering the cost for people, and yet many of your colleagues, certainly on the right, say that you've already breached the promise of not having anybody making $400,000 pay higher taxes. They will pay higher taxes.
Marie, the tax increases are on people over $10 million, but you know the economics. I mean, the way inflation happens is if you have something that's unpaid for, because then the Fed increases the money supply. Here, this is fully paid for, so you're not going to have the Fed increasing bond purchases. In fact, I agree with Larry Summers. The real issue is the Fed with the quantitative easing, where they're still backing mortgages. I mean, they need to reverse that. I hope that the Fed will take the appropriate actions.
Well, you say that it's fully paid for, and Joe Biden says it costs nothing, but that's not what we're hearing from the CBO and not what we're hearing from the Committee for a Responsible Budget. They say that there are plenty of gimmicks in this plan. In fact, Maya McGinnis was on this program just a week ago, and she said the cost of this plan is actually $4.9 trillion because of the gimmicks that you and your colleagues have put in, saying, oh, the child credit goes away in 1 year. I mean, do you honestly think the child credit goes away in 1 year?
Well, it depends on the Republicans. Right now, the Republicans aren't for giving families $300 a month for people who are raising kids. If they were, then we could extend it further. But the CBO looked at this, and they basically concluded it's paid for. There's slight disagreement on how much revenue the tax compliance would raise. Larry Summers thinks it would raise far more than what CBO does, but it's basically paid for. And even economists like Summers, who have said that there is often inflation, have said BBB won't cause inflation because it's largely paid for. Most economists have said that. The issue is with the Fed.
No, most economists haven't said that it's paid for, Congressman. Let me ask you a question. Why put in a federal program if you're going to take it away in 1 year or 2 years?
I don't want to. I would love to have a 10-year plan.
You want it for the 10 years, right? That's why it's $4.9 trillion. Because that's exactly right.
But there's
Anybody who puts these programs in do not want them to go away in 1 year.
I do not, but we don't have the support for that. If we had the support for that, I would support it, and then the cost would be higher. But we don't have the support for that. So that's like saying I would like more spending for renewable energy we don't have the votes for that doesn't mean that you fictitiously make up a number saying, well, if Kana got his renewable energy, that's what it would cost. What the center of budget is doing is saying, well, hypothetically, if there were the votes for these things, this is what it would cost. The votes aren't there. This is a one-year extension. It should be cost based on what's actually in the bill.
It sounds like that's exactly what your colleagues did. They came up fictitiously and said that this plan costs $1.75 trillion by saying that these programs go away in a year or two, and they don't. Nobody wants them to go away in 1 year, and they won't. So, in other words, the plan is actually costing $5.9 trillion, $4.9 trillion.
But the Republicans, here's the question, Maria. Why isn't there a single Republican who talks about family values, who says how important it is for parents to have the opportunity to raise their kids? Why isn't a single Republican saying, yeah, I think it's a good idea to give working class families $300 a month?
No, I think what the Republicans keep saying is they don't want a welfare state. They don't want government programs where families are so dependent on the government. They want them to work and make ends meet by their own efforts and not rely on money from the government with these federal programs that won't go away, that taxpayers will pay for. I mean, do you feel that this really is something that the American people want?
What I see is a lot of hardworking Americans, people who are driving trucks or working hard at restaurants, and they're having a tough time paying the bills and raising their kids. And what we're saying is, if you're a family who is raising kids in this country, that's the biggest job, and we ought to get $300 a month per kid. It's a policy that's pro-family, and I wish it had bipartisan support. And yes, I'm for 10 years if we can get it. The problem is we don't have the Republican support. And if Republicans were coming and support it, I'd say, yeah, it would cost more.
Right. Because we have $28 trillion in debt, and to just put out a program that gives people hundreds of dollars repeatedly is just creating a welfare state and adding to the debt. Why are we doing that? We're seeing an economy that is growing. You know, you've got inflation as well. So why put more spending out there? But look, Congressman, I don't want to keep going through this because obviously the Republicans say one thing and you're saying something else.
Whew. Yeah, that's a heated interview there. The Republican interviewer there, she has quite a lot to say there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments there. She's basically saying that the Republican stance is that the Republicans don't want to basically give anything to the American people. It's kind of what I'm getting there. She's basically saying Republicans don't support, as the one example she's given there, $300 to families in the child tax credits to 65 million children. And remember that a recent study shows that 50% of that goes to literally feeding children. And I'm sure that on the other 50%, a lot of that goes to paying rent and stuff like that. I'm not even sure if that's really the case because remember, former President Donald Trump and his daughter actually were the ones that raised. His daughter's the one that kind of advocated for it and helped get it. And former President Donald Trump raised it from $1,000 per year before it had the monthly payment option. They raised it from $1,000 per year per child to $2,000. And then the Democrats raised it from $2,000 per year to $3,000 to $3,600 and had the monthly payment options. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts and what your thoughts are on the Republican versus the Democratic point of views. Of course, they're talking about the child tax credits there, but they're really talking about really kind of the government helping out people. I mean, because when you really think about that on a broader scale, we're really talking about stimulus as a whole point of view. We're talking about a lot more things on a broader scale of the government helping people, if you really think about it there as a whole. They're also talking about whether the bill is paid for. The Democratic stance is the bill is paid for, it's paid for, it's paid for. You heard Ro Khanna there, Democrat from the House of Representatives from California, say it's paid for. The Republican stance is it's not paid for. And what the Republicans are saying there is that a lot of these programs are going to be or might be extended for many, many years forward. Okay, now this is a hypothetical situation here, and an example here could be the child tax credit. Okay, um, now this is very hypothetical because the Republicans could take over next year in the House and Senate, and would the Republicans, as an example here, since we're talking about the child tax credit, which is just one of the things here, would the Republicans extend the child tax credit? Remember, the former President Donald Trump, he's the one who raised the child tax credits from $1,000 to $2,000. And if we're going to go political, would the Republicans cut the child tax credits and not provide that to 65 million children, potentially take food out of the mouths of 65 million children, and potentially lose millions and millions of votes? You let me know your thoughts in the comments. I think at best, if they did cut it, they would only cut it back down to the $2,000 because that's what former President Donald Trump raised it to. Okay. I don't even know if they would do that, honestly. I really don't even know if they would do that. So there's the whole argument there. But the Republicans are trying to pin all the spending on the Democrats, and I'm just trying to give a neutral point of view here. And what they're trying to say here is that, well, they want to extend the child tax credits for 1 year, as just an example of just this one program here. We'll get to a couple of the other programs here in a second in the package. But and again, they're just trying to extend it for 1 year right now. These monthly checks, $250 to $300 per month per child. But after 1 year, they're saying, are they really going to just stop? Then they're going to try to extend them for another year and another year and another year. But of course, he's saying, well, we can't talk about that now because that's in the future. Who knows what's going to happen in the future, right? Future Congresses are going to have to vote on it and allocate money for future votes, right? Just like anything else, just like if we're talking about Medicare spending or defense spending, like when we talk about spending 750 billion or 770 billion on defense of the country every single year, right? We don't talk about how much it's going to cost for the next 10 years when we're spending just 1 year. We're only talking about the $750 billion or almost $1 trillion when we add on the add-on bill just for 1 year. We're not talking about the future costs of all the years in the future. We're talking about just what it costs for the 1 year. So that's kind of why they're saying, well, the real cost of this bill is $4.9 trillion over the next 10 years, because what if they extend all these programs for 10 years? And that's just kind of a what if situation. And what if they extend all these programs, which is just a hypothetical situation. Another thing in this package, you can see here, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, the lead Democrat in the Senate, the Majority Leader, calls paid family and medical leave one of the most important planks in the Build Back Better package. Remember, we are the only first world country in the world to not offer paid family and medical leave on a national basis. We're the only country in the world to not offer this on a national basis. The only first world country, I should say, the only first world country. Senate Majority Leader calls this a one of the most important planks. And it's really on the chopping block because of Senator Joe Manchin. Senator Joe Manchin says he's for it, but it really kind of shouldn't be in this package, which is kind of a convoluted way to say, well, I like it, but I don't like it in this package. That's Joe Manchin kind of double talk, right? He does that about a lot of different things, right? It's kind of like, yeah, I like this, but not in this package. I like it, but I don't like it. I like the Build Back Better package. I just don't like it right now. I like the Build Back package. I just don't like the price tag. I like it. I just don't want to vote for it, right? This is kind of like the common theme for the Build Back Better package, right? Now, in all fairness, he did kind of do this with the third stimulus package as well, and so did Kirsten Sinema, and ultimately they both voted yes on it in the end, which had the $1,400 stimulus checks, $1,400 stimulus checks for adult dependents and college student dependents. And it had the child tax credits, $3,000 to $3,600 per year for 1 year. And it had, let me see here, was about $40 billion in rent assistance and then $9.9 billion in mortgage assistance. We've been talking a lot about that on this channel. I'll link you to some videos here at the end of this video. That's going on here. This next package is going to have about $25 billion more in rent assistance if and when they pass this next package. And there's going to be all sorts of different videos or all sorts of different kind of miscellaneous things here when they pass this package that you might be able to claim. And I'll be going over that here in I think it's the next video. I have an interesting article here about some interesting things as well. You can see here the Senate will soon consider whether to implement a plan for the federal paid family and medical leave as part of the Build Back Better bill. Advocates are campaigning tirelessly to try to ensure the issue does not wind up on the chopping block as lawmakers negotiate to get the package passed. Their efforts were rewarded on Thursday when Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, a Democrat from New York, expressed his support for the proposal, saying, quote, "One of the most important planks in our proposal is paid leave," Schumer said during a media briefing hosted by Paid Leave for All, a national campaign of organizations fighting for paid family and medical leave. He says, quote, "We're here to say that we are fighting very hard to get national comprehensive paid leave in the Build Back Better bill," Chuck Schumer says.
An update now on the Democrat social spending plan. Still a bit of a work in progress at this point. Now it appears paid leave back on the table. We're going to go to Washington, D.C. right now, where Elon Moy joins us with the latest. Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. Paid leave is back in Democrats' social spending package after intense pressure from activists and some well-known companies. The updated text of the bill in the House was released yesterday, and it includes 4 weeks of paid family or medical leave. It starts in 2024, and it's estimated to cost about $200 billion. In a statement, the Democratic Women's Caucus said the proposal is critical to ensuring millions of women can address their care needs and return to the workforce, adding billions of dollars to our economy. Now, businesses large and small joined in this effort as well to restore paid leave. Some of the big names include Diageo, Salesforce, Pinterest, and Stitch Fix. Liz Meyer-Dirk is the CEO of The Pill Club, an online women's health startup with 400 employees. She said these benefits can help businesses attract workers in a tight labor market.
I think a lot about how do we show up for employees and how do we make sure we are addressing mental, physical, emotional needs, and putting in policies can give employees that sense of security and comfort that the company that you're working at, working with, working for is thinking about you holistically as a person.
But this proposal still does not have the blessing of Senator Joe Manchin, who has called it a challenge.
So once again, a thing that is very good for tens of millions of Americans, not just for women, but for men. It's for people who literally catch a virus and need paid leave. If you catch a virus and you need to quarantine for 10 days and you need time off from your work, paid leave comes into mind. The government will literally pay your salary or pay a portion of your salary. If you go to have a baby and you need paid leave, again, a lot of small businesses don't offer paid leave. Really just depends on where you work. This is something that is vital to our country. And right now during a pandemic, it's kind of needed more than ever. It's really just kind of shows that this is one program that we're really behind in. We're really behind in. We are the only major first world country to not have this on a national level. And if you're a small business, if you're like just a regular guy with 5 employees, you own a landscaping company, or you own a tire shop, or you own a little restaurant or something, you can't pay paid leave and pay somebody for 30 days off to after they have a baby. You just probably can't afford it. or you can't, if someone catches the virus, you probably can't pay them to go and quarantine for 10 days. You probably just can't afford it if you're just a regular guy. It's just kind of the economics of owning a small business, right? So this is just one of the things in the plan that is really, really needed. In fact, I got an interesting article that I just found here that I'll have for you guys in the next video of some more kind of hidden things that are in this package that are very, very interesting, that are just kind of more things that are in the package that really help a lot of people. So that'll be in this next video. So definitely make sure to watch here for the 8 p.m. Eastern time video. Remember, new videos come out here on our YouTube channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet. New videos come out every day. Subscribing is completely free to do so. So just literally click subscribe down below if you haven't yet, so you don't miss out on new videos, and hit this bell icon next to the subscribe button to get reminder notifications when we go live with new videos. You can click here to watch my newest video next. You can click this top video over here to find out how to apply for rent assistance. I've had thousands of viewers get over 12 months of their rent paid for free. And this bottom video is how to apply for utility assistance. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.